guys? Welcome to Powerline. I'm your host Sky Knight, and I've got the best deck profile for you. A lot of you are going to call me crazy, a lot of you are going to call me insane, and I'm okay with that. But I've got one of my favorite decks to come out that I built, and I enjoy playing it. Everyone hates it, and I love it. And Giraffa. Giraffa is the name of the game, guys. I'm not playing around. Here, let me show you what I'm working with. Let me show you what no special introductions. Let me show you what I am working with. So to start off, 8 grade 3s. Sand Giraffa and General Giraffa. Now, the way that I had this deck previously built was with the Break Ride and regular Giraffa, because the Break Ride offered the deck some help. But now that I've got 2 grade 3s, excellent. So when I play my game, I am always going to be on Sand Giraffa, unless I have some problem where I have to be on regular Giraffa. But this card is excellent on point and on rear guard. When it hits, counterblast 1, I choose one of my opponent's rear guards. It can't stand. But on top of that, if at any point during their turn, or my turn, that it goes to the graveyard, they have to select another unit on their field and retire it. What? I get 2 cards? That is excellent. Sand Giraffa is such a house. Grade 2s. For the Chain Ride, this card is excellent. When it hits on point, stun and rear guard. Great. Next, Abyss Diver. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose one of my opponent's unit. It can't stand and it can't intercept. Phenomenal. It is an AK body, however, this card actually helps enables the plays when I need to force them in for those plays that matter. Because I have certain cards that go off when my opponent's cards are rested, and sometimes I can't wait to get an on hit in order for a chance on. Sometimes you just need to force it. And yes, it messes up the Chain Ride, but really, when I play this card, I'm only pretty much getting rid of the grade 0 and the grade 1. And lastly, this card. Giraffa. I need to remember his name. When it's on point once per turn, counterblast 1, rest a unit on my opponent's field. This gets 2k. Turns it into an 11k attacker on rear. On par with one of my grade 3s. This card's excellent, but most importantly is its second ability. When I don't ride for my turn, and I go into my main phase, I can discard that card from my hand, go search for the grade 1 Giraffa, and ride it as stand. That's powerful. That is absolutely powerful. People don't understand how powerful that card is. Grade 1s. Jump right into it. Grade 1 Giraffa. The bottom ability is I don't really care about the bottom ability. Or excuse me, not the bottom ability. Super bottom ability. Yeah, I don't care about the bottom ability. It's irrelevant, unneeded. But I guess if I'm going to do that, I'll show the grade 0 as well. For this time only. Again, has a Chain Ride effect, has a 6k if the grade 0 is in it. In the soul, it becomes an AK body. More importantly, when that grade 1 rides the grade 0, I go search for the grade 2. Effectively meaning, I can have an opening hand without a grade 2. As long as I have this card or that card. Y'all don't know how powerful that stuff is. Excuse my French. That's 1 sub. Y'all don't know how powerful that is. You mean I don't have to start with a grade 2 in my hand. Or I don't have to start with this grade 1 in my hand. I can just start with this. Discard this from my hand. Go get the grade 1 from my deck. That's deck thinning. Then ride it. Go get my grade 2. That's more deck thinning. I'm down 2 cards under my deck, which means more chances to go get my triggers. Y'all don't know how powerful this stuff is, dude. I'm not making this up. Absolutely not making this up. Next. 2 of the Stride Neighbors, because sometimes you need to get there. 4 Perfect Guards, because 4 Perfect Guards are amazing. And lastly, the card that completes this deck. And you can't run no less than 4. You can get away with 3, but you always want to see it. Trigal. I wish this card was a Giraffa name. This card would have been insane if this was a Giraffa name. I'm so mad that it's not. You guys don't understand how mad I am. This is not some sort of a Giraffa name. A Giraffa's assistant or something. But this card's great. If your opponent has a stun card on their field during their ride phase, you check the top 5 cards for a Giraffa and you add it to your name. Deck thinning. If you have multiple copies of Trigal out, you get different instances of searches. That card is phenomenal. This whole deck is just phenomenal. And I know I may be hyping it up, but for a tempo deck, this card is insane. Or this deck is insane for a tempo deck. Because you're not really primarily focusing on stunning. You are primarily focusing on power. And I'll show you what I mean by power. Trigger units. 4 of the sweet, sweet heal trigger. I can't stress it enough how sweet that heal trigger is. 12 critical. I told you this deck is a tempo deck. There's options to stun along the way. However, I'm ending the game. I am ending the game, and that's all that matters. Stride units. I feel... 2 and 3. Why? Because this card's phenomenal. If they have rested units, I think it's 2 or more rested units. This gets plus 5k. Yeah, 2 or more rested units. This gets plus 5k, making it 31k. And this takes care of all the back rows. And for each rested unit that they have, this gets, for every 2 rested units that they have, it gets plus 5k. So if there's 4, I get 10k. If they're Gully and they have 6 rested units, it's 15. Great, this is great cards, great cards, situational. I run 2 of the GRs because the deck can only fit 2 in. Yeah. 2 of the GRs because they can only fit 2 in. I'm sorry, I was looking around because I thought I was missing a card. If you need to play the deck differently, especially when you have those clans that do a lot of superior calling, this card is great. And you alternate it. You alternate this against your opponent because they can't apply pressure back to you. So you run Goliath. So as long as you have all of your opponent's rear guards at rest, this card becomes amazing. And you pretty much are going to use this grade 2 to make sure that your opponent's cards are rested. Or at least if they want to keep 1 up. But they won't know what's coming. Or they will know it's coming. Anyways, you choose each one of your cards with Giraffa in its name, and it gets plus 5,000. And the cards that are in the front row with Giraffa in its name, if that card hits, stuns a rear guard. So, my usual plan is Goliath, GR, Goliath, GR. This way, I can apply pressure, they'll try hitting back, then I'll lock it so they can't call anything. After they can't call anything, I'll stun them again. So, it's great. Dude, I can't tell you how awesome this deck is. Paraspear as a one-off because sometimes you need to add cards to your hand. And lastly, 4 of Dark Phase because sometimes you won't be able to use the GR effectively, and this card is going to have to make up for it. Especially now that this card has power to boot. This card will help you if you can't use, if you're going against a deck that already has a lot of cards on the field and you just need to start picking off cards, but you can't have that, you can't have that, you can't have that. So guys, that is my Giraffa deck. I take a lot of pride into it only because when people see the deck, they just hate the deck, and I don't know why. I literally don't know why people hate this deck, but it is so good. I've did really well in a lot of Vanguard tournaments for it. The only downside to this deck that I've come across is against real control, and when I say real control, I'm talking about Link Joker, because they just lock your whole field out. But at that point, you just gotta play differently. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave in the comment section below. I love doing deck profiles. I know I was a little bit more hyped for this than I have been for other deck profiles, but I want to give this deck the justice that it deserves. Have a great day, guys.